Welcome to Krishna Bedtime Stories with the sound of rainfall. Story 4, The Whirlwind Wizard. When baby Krishna was a little grown, he began to roll over onto his tummy and move around. Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda arranged for Krishna's birth ceremony. All the cowherd men and women were invited to participate. A nice band played, and the people enjoyed it. All the learned Brahmins were invited, and they chanted Vedic hymns for the good fortune of baby Krishna. During the chanting of the Vedic hymns and playing of the bands, Krishna was bathed by Mother Yasoda. Mother Yasoda then arranged to distribute a large quantity of grains. First-class cows decorated with golden ornaments were given in charity to the learned, respectable Brahmins. After laying her dear child on her lap, she sat down to listen to the Vedic hymns. While listening to the hymns, the child appeared to be falling asleep, and therefore Mother Yasoda very carefully laid him down on a bed that was tucked under a hand-driven cart. She thought her baby would be safe there from all the people moving around. However, being engaged in receiving all the friends, relatives, and residents on that holy occasion, she forgot to feed her child breast milk. He began crying, but Mother Yasoda could not hear him because of the various festival noises. The child, however, became angry because he was hungry and his mother was not paying attention to him. So he lifted his legs and began to kick his lotus feet, just like an ordinary child. While baby Krishna was kicking his legs, he touched the wheel of the cart, and it collapsed. Various kinds of utensils and brass and metal dishes had been piled up in the hand cart, and they all fell down with a great noise. The wheel of the cart separated from the axle, and the spokes of the wheel were all broken and scattered hither and thither. Mother Yasoda and all the gopis, as well as Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men, were astonished as to how the cart could have collapsed by itself. All the men and women who were assembled for the holy function crowded around and began to suggest how the cart might have collapsed. No one could determine the cause, but some children who were entrusted to stay near baby Krishna informed the crowd that it was due to the baby striking his feet against the wheel. They assured the crowd that they had seen how it happened with their own eyes. Some residents were considering what the youngsters were saying, but others said, "How can you believe the statements of these children?" The cowherd men and women could not understand that the all-powerful personality of Godhead was lying there as a baby, and he could do anything. Both the possible and impossible were in his power. While the discussion was going on, baby Krishna cried. Mother Yasoda immediately picked him up on her lap and called the learned Brahmins to chant holy Vedic hymns to counteract any evil spirits who may have caused the broken cart. At the same time, she breastfed her baby. If a child sucks the mother's breast nicely, it is to be understood that he is out of all danger. After this, all the stronger cowherd men put the broken cart in order, and all the scattered things were set up nicely as before. The Brahmins thereafter began to offer oblations to the sacrificial fire with yogurt, butter, kusa grass, and water. They worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead for the good fortune of the child. The Brahmins were not envious. They never indulged in untruthfulness. They were never proud. They were non-violent, and they never claimed any false prestige. They were all bona fide Brahmins, and there was no reason to think that their blessings were useless. Nanda Maharaj then took his child on his lap and bathed him with water mixed with various herbs, while the Brahmins sang beautiful hymns. Nanda Maharaj then again gave huge quantities of grains and many cows. All the cows were covered with nice gold-embroidered garments, and their horns were bedecked with golden rings. Their hooves were covered with silver plate, and they wore garlands of flowers. He gave so many cows just for the welfare of his wonderful child. One day, shortly after Krishna's birth ceremony, Mother Yasoda was hugging and patting her child on her lap when suddenly the baby felt very, very heavy. Being unable to carry him, she unwillingly placed him on the ground. After a while, she became engaged in household affairs. At that time, one of Kamsa's servants was known as Trnavarta, and he was a wizard who could change his form. Kamsa instructed Trnavarta to go immediately to the village of Nanda Maharaj and appear there in the shape of a destructive whirlwind and kill baby Krishna. The wizard immediately went as instructed, and when he saw the baby sitting on the ground, he swooped in, picked him up on his shoulders, while causing a great dust storm all over the land so that nobody could rescue the baby. Indeed, because of the dust storm, everyone's eyes became covered within a few moments, and the whole area became so densely dark that no one could see himself nor anyone else. Parents could not see their children. Children could not find their parents. Cows could not find their calves. During this great catastrophe, when Mother Yasoda could not see her baby, she began to cry very piteously. She fell down on the ground, exactly like a cow who has just lost her calf. When Mother Yasoda was crying so heartbreakingly, all the cowherd women immediately came, and they began to look for baby Krishna. But they soon became very upset because they could not find him. Meanwhile, the Trnavarta wizard took baby Krishna on his shoulder and flew high in the sky, trailing with the destructive whirlwind. But this did not frighten baby Krishna, and he assumed such a heavy weight on the demon's shoulder that Trnavarta could not fly any further, and he was forced to stop his whirlwind activities. Baby Krishna then made himself even heavier, so much so that the wizard was having difficulty even flying. Trnavarta felt the baby to be as heavy as a large mountain, and he struggled to get the child off his shoulders, but was unable to do so. The wizard was in such distress that his eyes popped out of their sockets. Crying very fiercely, he fell down, down, down onto the stone ground and died. His limbs were all smashed. When the gopis saw the demon killed and baby Krishna very happily playing on his body, with great affection, They immediately picked Krishna up. The cowherd men and women became very happy to get back their beloved Krishna. At that time, they began to talk about how wonderful it was that the demon took away the child to kill him, but could not do so. Instead, he fell down dead. After observing such wonderful happenings, Nanda Maharaj quietly began to think of the words of warning from Vasudeva. Sweet dreams of Krishna. He loves each one of us very, very much. Namaste.